Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, me and my boy Skadek will be speedrunning against each other to see how much damage we can each get in under 15 minutes. Also, I want to thank you guys for 10 subscribers. If you're new, make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get into the video. So there's nothing really that important in the asylum, but I kind of learned from my mistakes by trying to bait the boulder, but I end up getting hit. I exhaust Oscar's dialogue unlike last time, making my time improve by a couple seconds. I do have a little trouble getting raped by these guys, but I quickly go through the fog wall and plunge attack the asylum demon. The fight goes pretty flawlessly. I don't get hit at all, but it does take up quite a bit of time. But once I'm done with him, I head out the door, and I've gotten the asylum done and out of the way in only 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Yes, I'm aware Halloween has passed, but I'm still using this spooky timer. Anyways, I put all my extra levels into strength to get that extra bit of damage boost, which could make the difference. I head down the elevator to New London Ruins and do a little jump that I could have ended up rolling on to save some time, but I keep pushing through to Valley of Drakes. I take a turn to the left and aim for the dragons at the end of the valley. I also pick up a nice little soul and then skedaddle my way out of there. Once I make it to the dragons, that's when I know I gotta lock in. One hit here will get me stunned, and then I'll get hit again and I'll die and lose 2 whole minutes to my run. So I quickly navigate through the dragons and make it up the ladder successfully. I do all this to get the red tier stone ring, and if you're unaware, if you're below 20% health, you get a 50% damage boost. Anyways, I heal up and get ready to roll off and make a run. And then I die. Or get raped, whatever you like to call it. But it's wasted me a whole 3 minutes on my run. Anyways, let's cut back to Skadek's run. There's not a whole lot of things you can do in the asylum, so I'll just point out some details. He does this little pro speedrun armor strap, completely disregards the shield, and successfully baits the boulder unlike me. But this is where his run takes a little turn. He talks to Oscar just like me, but he forgets to click A one more time, making him have to go back and get the key again. This probably cost him about 10 or 15 seconds. Then he gets the Pyromancy Flame, and I bet you can already guess what he's going to do with that later. Anyways, he gets raped a little bit here, but then successfully makes it to the fog wall, where he heals, and the asylum demon jumps immediately at him, but he retaliates back with a plunge and a flawless fight with the asylum demon. He ends up taking 20 more seconds than me, but maybe he'll earn that back somehow. Once he's at Firelink, he puts all his stats into strength just like me, so he can get that extra damage boost. Then he equips some of his clothing back on, which makes me wonder why he even took it off in the first place. He heads down the same elevator as me and does a cheeky little roll to save a couple seconds instead of just standing there after you fall. Once he does that, this is where our runs really differ. He decides to take a full turn into Blight Town, where he'll be spending the rest of his run. He gets absolutely slammed by this little goblin, but he keeps pushing through with all the fear in his heart. Once he successfully makes it down the Ferris wheel, he takes a wrong turn to the right, causing him a couple seconds, but he readjusts quickly back to the left, to where he finds himself the bonfire. Now let's cut back to me. I'm currently speedrunning back to where I died, and having to pull the lever since I forgot to send the elevator back up because I was too cocky thinking I would not die. Also, if you didn't notice, I put some cheeky copyright-free Halloween music in the back, thinking this would be posted on Halloween. Anyways, I run past the dragons with swiftness and precision and make it up the elevator. That's going to take me to where I need to go. Once I run out and forget about the Black Knight, which kind of jump scares me, but I keep on running, to where I get to the Undead Parish and use my 40 days on Dark Souls Remastered to anticipate the demon's moves and make it up to the blacksmith, where I use all of my souls to be able to purchase some Titanite shards to upgrade my weapon, which will in turn make fighting the gargoyles and all the enemies in this area quite easier. And I pop a humanity, and you'll see why later. Now continuing back to Skadek's run, he runs through this area in search of a certain item, but unfortunately he kind of gets poisoned and raped. With post-traumatic rape syndrome, Skadek quickly runs away in fear of getting raped again. Luckily though, he finds the ladder and climbs up it. Climbs up another. But having post-traumatic rape syndrome does not disable you from getting raped again. Anyways, he continues back to where he was with some time lost and halfway through his run, but he keeps on going, keeps climbing those ladders, and this time avoids the spider. Once he climbs up this ladder, he climbs up another ladder, and then he runs past that and takes a wrong turn and ganders for a few minutes, wasting some time like he usually does, and climbs up to the right path that he's supposed to go. Then he starts climbing up some more ladders, And once he's done with that, he heads to the fog wall, but not before a quick heal and break. Now with Skedek's great Dark Souls knowledge, he knows an enemy's going to come down here, so he waits just for that. Then he starts trying to hit him off the ledge. But sadly, Skedek does not know what he's doing and ends up dying to poison. So Skedek's wasted about 3 minutes of his run for nothing. But now continuing back to my run, I reverse my hollowing at the bonfire and start heading up. And this is where you see my brilliant top tier strategies. I run past all the enemies without a fear in my mind, and right when I get here, I quit out. Once I load back in, I take this enemy out with quite the ease since there's no one here to back him up, and then I head to the channeler, where I make a giant discovery that he only buffs the enemies, which is kind of crazy. I didn't know that. But with that in mind, this makes this area so much easier. You one-shot all the little enemies, and the channeler is very easy to take out. Once I'm done with him, I start heading up the ladder to fight the boss. And this is obviously why I turned human to summon Solaire. And summoning is not against the rules if you have an offline NPC, because anybody can do that. Solaire decides to take a little leisure day off and let me fight for 30 seconds by myself before he decides to join in. And by that time, the other gargoyle is about ready to join in. So I go kill the other gargoyle while Solaire finishes off the other guy. We killed them very easily, but this is where my biggest mistake was. I did not want to run all the way back to the bonfire and all the way back to the blacksmith because I thought that would take too much time. So instead, I ran all the way up the ladders and rang the bell and went all the way down just to buy one bone arrow. So I probably spent about a whole minute doing this, and I probably could have just ran back in 30. But it is what it is. I could not have really done anything in between that time frame anyway, so it doesn't really matter. With that little yap story out of the way, I teleport back to the bonfire, go to the blacksmith, and I buy 7 Titanite shards so I can get my weapon to +5. With that done, I go back to the bonfire and put all my remaining level ups into strength so I can get that extra damage boost like I've said a million times. Then I put on the red tearstone ring, which you've heard before, gives me an extra 50% damage boost when I'm low on HP, which is going to carry me through this challenge. So I kill the 2 enemies, make sure I take some damage, and then I kill that last guy, and then my total comes out to be 309. Let's see how Skedek compares to this. Even though Skedek has died twice on this and wasted 3 minutes, he is truly determined to get whatever lies on the top of this. And I'm sure you've already guessed it by now. But this attempt is looking really promising, and I'm really starting to have faith in whatever Skedek's doing. Once he makes it here, he waits for the enemy, collectively calms his thoughts, and tries to hit him off. And that he successfully does. Then he heads up the ladder for the farthest he's been this run yet. Looking around, gaining some hope from the fallen souls, he runs through the enemies, and there's a little thing I've never seen before. He just takes a turn, gets power within, and jumps off. Which I didn't realize you could do that. I've looked at 20 guides, and none of those guides showed that you could get power within just like that. With power within tamed, he only needs one more item, and that he is going to get. He runs to it, guarded by 2 big ogres. Hopefully he can dodge their boulders. Nope. I mean, Skedek still has 3 minutes, so he can probably clutch this up. He dodges both those boulders nicely and gets the Great Club. He equips it right in between them. I don't know why he does that, but he realizes he cannot use it. So I don't know how he has not died yet, just swinging a broken weapon he can't use and standing still, but he's determined to get some souls. So he just stands in the swamp, rolls for ages, and then keeps on running. I don't know how he's not died yet. And he gets a big old soul, which is worth 3,000. And considering he chose the Pyromancer, which starts at level 1, this is big for him. He rests at the bonfire, which resets the enemies and then pops the soul. Then he rests at the bonfire to level up, and he gets a whole 4 levels from this, which enables him to use the Great Club. Then all he's got to do is equip power within, equip his Great Club, and then apply power within, and that's his total damage. I know you saw 206, but that's not his total damage. You have to figure out what 30% of 206 is, and add that to 206, but either way, that's not 309. So anyways, I take the lead, 2-0 Skedek.